My name is Milton and I'm currently a senior at Williams College studying computer science and statistics. So last summer, I spent my time doing software development engineering. I was an intern at Amazon AWS, and I was based in Bellevue in Washington. I feel like being a software development engineer at Amazon is like being somewhere in between a startup and a huge company, even though Amazon itself is very huge and they have like a vast amount of products. But when you're actually working there, the teams are pretty small. So it's like each team is like maybe 5 to 10 people. So about the size to be fed by two pizzas. And I think that really helps, like just being able to make impact on a large scale, whilst at the same time working with a small team and moving pretty quickly. So I really enjoyed that about my experience, I think. So a typical day in my life during the internship. So each time I would wake up around 7 a.m. and then I would do my preparations, have breakfast, and then go to work. I was living pretty close to the office, so I'll just ride. That was actually my favorite part, just riding to the office, because I love exercise and being able to be in the outdoors. And then in the morning, the first thing that I did usually was stand up. So in my team, we started at 9 a.m. And then during stand up, you just give an update of what you've been working on the day before. If there's any blockers that you're facing, and you also hear about your teammates, what they've been working on as well. And then after that, sometimes there might be other meetings. So you might meet with a designer, or in my case, I also had a mentor. So I would meet with my mentor and discuss my project. If there's anything that he can help me with, also giving him updates. And then after that, usually there'll be maybe 1 or 2 hours in which I would just do some work on the project. And then soon after, it's like usually around lunchtime, and then just go to lunch, sometimes with the team, or grab lunch somewhere. I usually preferred taking food from home, so just have me lunch, meet other interns, and then after lunch, go back to work. And then around 5, that's around the time my day finished, and then I'll just head back home. During my internship, I was placed within Amazon AWS, which stands for Amazon Web Services. So basically, it's like a collection of different products that allow companies and sometimes individuals to create their own software and applications that are then hosted by Amazon. So they don't need to worry about maintaining their servers and all those other things related to that. So I was placed in Amazon AWS support. So basically, AWS support is a team that works on helping customers that use AWS with any issues that they may be facing. So like troubleshooting, and they have their own like engineers, which are called support engineers. And when any client has an issue, let's say maybe their EC2 instance, which basically is another way of saying like a server is not working correctly, they can contact us, and then they can contact them, and then they can tell them how they can troubleshoot and help them with that. So my team was basically within AWS support, it focused on Gen AI, which basically meant finding ways of automating that whole process of trying to assist the customers and making it easier and faster to deliver the solutions. I think going into this role, I was a bit surprised by how much there is, like in terms of the scope. Like obviously Amazon AWS is very big. It's like global. A lot of customers that use it are from different places in the world, and naturally, like the code base is very big. So I would say the way that people were able to navigate that, like the way they were so knowledgeable, the people that were in my team, and despite that, them being able to find time to assist me and explain how things work and direct me to the right resources to learn about how I could transition. I just found that very like impressive, that like, you're working on something that's so big and complicated, and yet you're able to fully understand it and find ways of also like find the time and ways of supporting other people who are also in that process. So the application process started with submitting your resume, obviously. And I actually started submitting mine as a freshman. And then I was rejected during that time. I tried again as a sophomore. I was rejected. And then I tried as a junior, and I finally got an interview. And then, actually, before the interview, you start with an assessment, online assessment. So it's basically solving some problem, and it's technical in nature. And then once you solve the OA, you get moved forward to the interview stage. So this part for me, for Amazon specifically, was split into both behavioral and technical aspects. So the behavioral aspect focuses mainly on like how you have applied the Amazon leadership principles in your own life or in your own projects. And the technical aspect is also a lead code type problem. So you basically live code with the interviewer. And I would say it's pretty much the same to a lot of other companies as well. The only difference was I feel like it might have been slightly condensed in the sense that my behavioral and technical were both in the same interview session. Sometimes I know some companies prefer splitting the two. And then in terms of preparation, I feel like I tried to start preparing early. So I think one of the main things that really helped me was trying to take different courses and just expose myself to different frameworks and languages that I didn't know. So I took a few code path classes. So I tried to take classes in Android development, iOS development, and then also some technical interview prep courses. So that really helped me get exposure to what is like, preparing for interviews and also building projects and doing it in community. I think that's very important because in addition to just being able to learn and build, I think it really helped being able to have someone and people to do it with, and just help with motivation as well. And then in addition to this, I also tried to find like time to lead code. So basically, like at some point, I had my, this friend who agreed that every morning we just wake up and start lead coding. And then with time, that kind of compounds, even though each time you're just doing it a few questions. Or sometimes you don't even solve any question. But with time, you realize that, we've actually made some progress, and that just kept us going until eventually we got interviews and started actually using those skills. I think that was very helpful. In terms of projects that I feel like helped me prepare for my role, I worked a bit on full stack projects. One of them was just with my friends. We tried to build a booking system for a specific company, and this gave me exposure to frameworks like React, and then for the backend, Django, and basically how to build something that uses both, that is basically full stack. There's both a front end and a back end, which is similar to what I ended up working on. So just having that prior experience helped me be able to come in with a bit of experience and have a bit of confidence and a starting point to learn even more. And in terms of classes, I think taking Computer Science 136, which is basically, what is 136? I think it's data structures and algorithms, just help like with the way you think about solving problems. It just posted that problem solving aspect, and also like introductory programming classes as well, like just being able to get comfortable with coding so that you don't need to worry about the syntax and just focus on like the problem solving aspect. I think that was very helpful from an academic standpoint. But I really think that what probably helped me most was being able to build stuff and also take practical classes even outside academics. Like I mentioned, Android development, web development, iOS development, that just expose you to building things that you can actually see. It's very motivating when you can build something and see it working and see the impact that it can make. So for example, like when I was a freshman, I just worked on this project with a few friends where was trying to solve like this issue of people struggling to find resources for learning during COVID-19. So basically trying to build an app that allowed them to have access to those resources without needing internet connection. So I think that aspect of just being able to solve a problem that actually helps someone gives motivation. So in the same way, I feel like trying to work on projects that have some form of meaning outside the project itself is very helpful. One of the misconceptions that people have about working at big tech companies is that because they are huge, they tend to be like slow moving, like things take a bit of time because there's a lot of like hierarchies, and you just like the processes just take long. And I feel like I didn't really see this honestly, like during my internship. It might be because it was a short space of time, but I do believe that in most cases, or especially at Amazon specifically, I feel like despite the scale of the company, the size of the teams, and the ownership that they have in terms of the projects that they're working on and the products that they own, they're able to make a lot of decisions like within the team, and they're able to like build quickly and ship things very fast, which helps them actually move at the pace of a startup and basically create products at a very fast pace. And I do feel like before coming in, that's one of the things I thought that, oh, maybe since it's a big company, it would take a bit of more time for things to move, But I didn't really experience this. And another thing that I feel like people have a misconception about, specifically with Amazon, is that like you really work a lot. And I don't know, I feel like in my experience, I didn't really have to like do a lot of work, like just that I feel like, oh, I'm exhausted or this is too much. I feel like it was just enough challenge. Of course, I was pushing myself, and I felt like I was also encouraged to like take more challenges and try and learn more things and grow. For a long time, I've always been like someone who's interested in building things, software, physical things, and I really think working in industry would be something that I'd be more interested in than going straight to grad school after graduation, because I'll get to do that like immediately after graduation. And I also feel like I'm still discovering myself in terms of like what areas I might want to like hone in on and focus on going forward. So I think that maybe going into industry first before grad school will help me gain that clarity. And then eventually when I do a master's program or PhD, I'll know what exactly like to focus on. And I've also been interested in the startup world. I'm still also discovering where my passion lies and how I want to contribute. But I know that in the grand scheme of things in the future, I would like to own a startup, and that's something that I would also like to work towards and settle for in the long term.